Next up, a book that's been called one of the most anticipated fantasy books of 2024. It is the last in a trilogy of a story you will be seeing on the big screen very soon. Fans have been waiting 5 years. We've been waiting for this. 5 years. It comes out next month. But guess what? I have a copy in my hand here on this shelf, and we're talking about Children of Anguish and Anarchy. It is written by one of the most talked about authors there is right now, Tomi Adeyemi, whose writing has landed her on both the Forbes 30 Under 30 and Time Magazine's 100 Most Influential list. It all started in 2018 when Tomi was just 24 and released her debut novel, Children of Blood and Bone, which shot to #1 on the New York Times bestseller list. As did the follow-up, Children of Virtue and Vengeance. Combined, both books spent a total of 155 weeks on that iconic chart. It's been translated into 32 languages. Her trilogy, and this is what's so amazing, her trilogy of West African-inspired young adult fantasy books called The Legacy of Orisha follows teenager Zaylee on her mission to overthrow a powerful monarchy by restoring magic to her oppressed people. It has been praised for helping young readers confront real-life questions about race, power. Entertainment Weekly described the first book as a trilogy, as all the makings of a masterpiece. Take a look at how much Tomi's fans love the series.
If you were not recommending this book all the time, I'm questioning you. I'm sorry, this book was amazing.
Thank you for being part of this magical journey with me. It's so beautiful. I don't think I'll ever recover.
I just can't say enough good things about it. I could go on forever.
Tomi Adeyemi's debut novel. Tam fam, please welcome Tomi Adeyemi to our stage! I sincerely don't know where to start. Okay, first of all, you made us wait 5 years.
I did.
I mean, that's like the most brutal courtship of ever.
I know.
Everything is happening, as they say. Time 100 list. But this book, I just got to set the stage here. The trilogy deals with so many things, but it comes from you.
Yes.
You talk about in Children of Anguish and Anarchy, I fight past the part of me that yearns to break, the way every breath it aches. Think of the others, I push myself. You describe this series as your very own Taylor Swift album.
Yeah. Well, I think in a similar sense to how, like, you know, we know Taylor's life and then we have an album about it. So it's like we're kind of following her. Part of why this took so long is like, I mean, you just talked about it with Undefeated. It's like I go through different seasons of life. And so even though the trilogy follows one plot, a girl trying to bring magic back to her people, like each book is like an album in my life. So whatever the storm that I was experiencing, like as I grew up and became an adult through this trilogy, it ends up in the pages. So yeah, you're gonna feel the epic conclusion of this series, but you're also gonna feel like the epic conclusion of my 20s and like all of that.
Did you need that fiction as an escape? Did you need her to reveal you?
Yeah, I mean, I started writing, it was the first thing I ever did. Like, my parents didn't tell me to do it. A teacher didn't tell me to do it. I just brought myself to a computer.
Your mom is here now. She
yes.
Hi, Mom.
Hi, Mom.
Hi, Mom.
Hi, Mom.
Because your mom, they had doctor, engineer.
Yes, I'm Nigerian.
Yeah.
You know, I'm first generation Nigerian, so we're supposed to be doctors, lawyers, and engineers. We don't, I mean, we do now, but this wasn't, I just did this in my room at night. Like, my parents didn't really know, my best friends didn't really know, like, my siblings didn't really know.
But I remember reading something to the effect about you as a kid, you wanted, was it lightning to come from your hands and you wanted to go into your closet and your closet was a portal of fantasy.
Yes, all the stories I wrote as a kid, it's like my first story, I wanted a horse, so I gave myself a horse. Yeah, she wanted a horse, she wanted a twin. And my parents said no to both, so she wrote a story. I grew up, I wanted a magical necklace to take me to a fantasy world. I wanted to shoot lightning out of my hands. So I would say fantasy for the whole first act of my life was was how I processed like what I wanted and then how I processed what this world was. Wow. And I don't think, it's funny because now that the series is concluded, I'm like, oh, you feel like an adult more than you did.
You do.
I feel like an adult. And it's like, because I don't need the fantasy to cope with who I am or this world. I'm like, oh, we can go on Tamron Hall.
Oh my God.
You know,
so. You describe this mythology as a divine inspiration.
Yes.
And I love it because you look at the books are currently adapted into the big screen. I know that Cynthia Erivo is doing the audio.
Yes.
She was just at the Met Gala looking like royalty.
Yes.
Last night.
Yes.
I mean, I think about this little girl who thought of fantasy and created something 150-something weeks on the New York Times bestseller list, kids and people around the world.
Yeah.
I mean, you are our hero in this space.
Thank you. Thank you.
I mean, like, I see this, but this is you for me.
Like now that I have the poster pics and I was like, we look the same. And so for someone who started like writing myself into fantasy as a journey of self-love and then to have this final book. And I'm like, I'm sorry, is that just you with the mask on and white braids? So it's all of this is like the culmination of my childhood. And so now to be able to share this with the world, it's such a, I mean, it's a wild journey, but it's so, there's just such a sense of community and celebration. And then to have this and then the movie coming out, it's like incredible.
And speaking of the movie, they are saying, move over Harry Potter, move over Hunger Games. They are saying this is the dynasty.
We have Gina Prince-Bythewood.
Yes, Love and Basketball.
Love and Basketball, Woman King, The Old Guard.
Yeah.
So it's like this goddess. I haven't been able to think of the word. I was like, is it king? Is it master? Is it this? We have this creative goddess. And I'm telling you, working with her has been like the most incredible like collaboration, fusion. We're talking like after this show, like when I tell you this script is already my favorite movie of all time. Of all time.
Okay.
Of all time.
So let me put this in perspective.
Yes.
The favorite script of all time meets the most blessed book of fantasy you will ever read. I cannot wait. Tomi, thank you so much. Thank you to your mom for giving you wings to spread. Guess what, Tam fam? You can get started on the trilogy. You are going home with a signed copy of